Welcome to this episode of Ink It Up with Jessica TV. I'm Jessica Taylor, and in today's episode, I'm going to show you how to do the masking technique. This is the technique that you'll want to do when you're stamping, and you want to make it look like one image is behind another image. So for instance, in this card, the leaves appear like they are behind the flower. Or on this card, it appears that the purple balloons are behind the pink balloons. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how to do it. When you're using the masking technique, you always want to stamp the image that's going to appear in the front first. So always think first front, FF. So in this card, we're going to stamp the pink balloons first because they appear in the front. So I'm just going to use some Melon Mambo ink and ink up my balloon. And then I'm just going to stamp 2 balloons on my paper. Then to create the mask, you're going to want to stamp the same image on a piece of scratch paper. I like to use Post-it notes because they have that little bit of sticky on them that will hold my mask in place. So I stamp my image up towards the top of the Post-it to make sure that I grab as much of that sticky strip as I can. So then you want to take your image and cut it out. And you want to do this really closely, so use some good paper cutting scissors. I like to have separate scissors for my paper and then different scissors for my ribbon and other things. Especially adhesive. You don't want to use your good paper cutting scissors for adhesive and then they get all sticky. So you want to cut really close, right around your image. This balloon is pretty easy, but you can do this with more intricate images as well. You want to just make sure that you get a good close cut. And I'm just going to cut the little end off because I don't really need to worry about that. So this is going to be my mask. So I'm going to go ahead and put that over my pink balloon. You want to line it up so that you're totally covering it. And then that little bit of sticky is just going to hold it in place. And then I have another mask that I made earlier that I'm just going to line up over this second balloon. So then let me just clean my stamp and grab my purple ink pad. Okay, now that I have my masks in place, I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. And then I'm just going to stamp right over my masks. And I'm actually going to do a few balloons. Let's see. And one more down here. So then when you take those masks off, you can see that it looks like the purple balloons are behind the pink balloons. So you can keep these masks and use them over and over again. I just keep them in with my stamp set so that I don't have to cut out lots more. And then that just makes them ready to use whenever I need them. You'll also notice when I stamped this, I ended up with ink all over my fingers, and this happened to me when I made this balloon card as well. That is why I used all these little sequins to add some confetti to it, because there were little fingerprints and ink smudges there. So I'm going to do the same thing with this card, and that's just another tip. Don't worry about it. If you get extra smudges on your card, you just turn that into an opportunity to be creative and add some more embellishments. So let me show you how we made that flower card. So for the flower card, you want the flower to appear like it's in front of the leaves, and the leaves are kind of tucked behind the flower. So because the flower is in front, we're going to stamp that first. So I just have a piece of Whisper White cardstock that I'm going to stamp my flower in Melon Mambo ink. And then I've already created a mask for this one, and I'm not going to do it again because this one has a lot of little intricate details that need to be cut out, and I really don't want to do that again. So I'm just going to keep using this one over and over again. So you can kind of tell with this flower, like there's a little triangle that comes out there and there's a little bump here. So that's how I line it up. And again, this is kind of sticky on the back because I used a Post-it note. So I'm just going to put that right over my flower, and then I'm going to grab my leaves. So I'm going to stamp this in Old Olive, and I'm just going to stamp right over the flower. So obviously this would not look very good if I were to stamp it and actually stamp over the flower, because then my leaves would be in front of the flower. So I'm just going to stamp like that, and then I'm also going to stamp some little flowers in Pink Pirouette. So I'm just going to kind of fill in here and there with some pink flowers. Again, if I stamp them over the mask, these pink flowers are going to look like they're peeking out from behind the flower. And it doesn't really matter if I stamp them over the leaves because they are a light color. It doesn't really show up there. So then when we take the mask off, it looks like that's all behind your main flower image. And for this one, I did stamp Pink Pirouette in the middle as well with this, another stamp that comes in the set. But I hope that you enjoyed this video on the masking technique and that you will give it a try yourself. Thanks so much for watching.